inside and out. I genuinely believe we have found our piece of paradise on earth. Because I'm the best version of myself when I'm with you here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our session on Malaysia, our neighbor and a leading medical tourism destination. As the world ages and healthcare costs rise, seeking quality care can be a challenge. But Malaysia offers a solution. With cutting-edge technology, skilled professionals, and warm hospitality, our neighbor provides affordable and personalized care. By 2050, the global population of people aged 60 and above will reach 2 billion. Malaysia is well equipped to meet this need, offering expertise in complex surgeries, wellness retreats, and compassionate care. Let's explore the best of Malaysian healthcare and discover why it's a preferred destination for medical tourists worldwide. Firstly, we will have His Excellency Azfar Mohamad Mustafar, High Commissioner of Malaysia in Singapore, to introduce more on an overview about the healthcare industry in Malaysia. His Excellency Dato Azfar joined the Malaysian Civil Service in 1996, and his past assignments include serving as the Ambassador of Malaysia to France, with concurrent accreditation to Monaco and Portugal. Mr. Ambassador, please. Thank you.
Thank you, MC. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and good afternoon to all. It is a great honor to be here with all of you today to discuss the vast opportunity in the healthcare sector, an area that is not only essential for the well-being of our society, but also one that holds immense potential for economic growth and innovation. In today's fast-evolving world, healthcare has never been more important. The recent global events, including COVID-19, have underscored the critical role that healthcare systems play in protecting and enhancing life. They have also illuminated the vast potential for development across various segments of the healthcare sector, including medical devices, pharmaceuticals, and elderly care, all of which are rapidly expanding to meet the demand of modern society. One of the most dynamic areas of growth is medical innovation. The development of cutting-edge medical device, artificial intelligence in diagnostic, telemedicine, and wearable health technologies are all creating new ways to deliver care more efficiently and effectively. With advances in technology, there are now incredible opportunity to address critical medical issues in ways that were unthinkable a decade ago. Pharmaceutical remains a critical component of healthcare. The industry is undergoing a significant transformation as we enter an era of personalized medicine. Advances in genomics, biotechnology, and artificial intelligence are enabling the development of highly targeted therapies, offering the promise of more effective treatment with fewer side effects. The global population is aging. According to the World Health Organization, the number of people aged 60 years and older is expected to double by 2050, reaching 2.1 billion. This demographic shift presents a unique set of challenges, but also offer incredible opportunities for growth in elderly care, healthcare infrastructure, and services tailored to the need of the older adults. The demand for specialized care facilities, long-term care solutions, home-based care services, and advanced treatment for age-related diseases is on the rise. Entrepreneurs and healthcare providers must seize this opportunity to innovate and offer solutions that not only enhance the quality of life for our aging population, but also ease the strains on healthcare system. Now allow me to draw your attention to Malaysia, an emerging hub for healthcare innovation and investment in Asia. Malaysia's healthcare sector has seen remarkable growth over the years, driven by its strategic location, good policies, and the growing demand for high-quality medical services and products. Investment opportunity abound in areas such as medical devices, pharmaceutical, biotechnology, and elderly care services. Malaysia is poised to become a leader in medical tourism, owing to its world-class healthcare facilities, skilled medical professionals, and competitive price. This in turn creates further investment opportunities in hospital infrastructure, healthcare, management system, and medical tourism. Malaysian government is committed to ensuring that the healthcare sector thrive, and it is actively working to attract foreign direct investment. Ladies and gentlemen, the healthcare sector is rich with potential. From the continued development of life-saving drugs and devices to the care of our aging population, there is no shortage of opportunity to contribute to a healthier, more prosperous future of all. And to further elaborate on this, I invited my panel of experts to tell you the story. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador, for sharing your insights on Malaysian healthcare. Let us continue now and join us on this journey to wellness. In this panel to be moderated by Ms. Kavitha Mathuvay, Minister for Economic Matters at the High Commission of Malaysia in Singapore. Next, we have Mr. Vinothan Tulisinathzan, Director at the Malaysian Investment Development Authority in Singapore. Mr. Vinothan joined MIDA in 2007 and was previously attached to the Foreign Direct Investment (FDI) division responsible for attracting FDIs from Asia-Oceania regions such as Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Australia. He has since then been the director of MIDA Singapore from January 2022. We invite Mr. Vinothan for his views on this panel. Next, we will have Ms. Sherene Azli, Chief Marketing Officer at KPJ Healthcare Berhad, to provide her views on this panel. Ms. Sherene was previously the CEO of the Malaysia Healthcare Travel Council, MHTC, which she helmed during a period of remarkable transformation, where she led Malaysia to its recognition as the global #1 healthcare destination by volume in 2019, and earned the prestigious International Medical Travel Journal, IMTJ, Destination of the Year Award multiple times. We invite Ms. Sherene for her valuable insights. Last but not least, we have Mr. Ho Wai Kee, Head of Corporate Advisory in Investment Banking at OCBC Malaysia. With over 28 years of corporate and banking experience, Mr. Ho has structured many leverage financing deals supporting the acquisition of companies in Malaysia. In particular, he has closed a number of landmark transactions, including financing for construction of hospitals and acquisition of healthcare assets. We invite Mr. Ho for his valuable insights on this panel. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's right after lunch, late lunch, I would say. Well, first I would like to thank His Excellency High Commissioner Dato Indra Azfar for setting the stage and giving the overview, make my job easier, I would say. And the stage where we will discuss on Malaysia business opportunities in healthcare specifically. And we We appreciate, High Commissioner, your valuable insights and context that you have provided. Indeed, healthcare industry in Malaysia is a dynamic and rapid, really growing sector, recognized by its quality and affordability. And we are excited today to further explore the dynamic and growing healthcare sector in various, I would say, various angles and various perspective, from the investment perspective, business perspective, medical services, medical tourism, as well as stakeholders and also financing. And of course, with me today, as MC has introduced, so we have distinguished panelists who will share their insights on their various facets of healthcare. So before we dive into the discussion, I'll be inviting each of our panel speakers to give a brief overview and share based on their respective area. And without further ado, first, I would like to invite Mr. Vinothan to share about the investment landscape in Malaysia, especially on healthcare sector. Mr. Vinod, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kavitha, Minister of Economy. Sorry, are we having the video? Okay, pause later. Good afternoon, His Excellency, Dato Indra Dr. Azfar, the High Commissioner of Malaysia to Singapore, all the ambassadors, the High Commissioners, the dignitaries, Sun Media, Ms. Nobita, of course my good friend, Mr. Vinothan, the President of SMF, and to the esteemed audience over here, who I think has been traveling around the world to come to join for this amazing World Opportunities Forum. This is my first time, so I'm very excited about it. So I'll be running some slides here. I'm going to give you an overview. There is about 100 slides here, so you've got to bear with me on this, because that's all after lunch, right? Yeah. Anyway, before I, so what I would like to share today is basically the topic of driving investment in healthcare industry, which also includes pharmaceutical, medical device, health services and so on. So before I get into this topic, allow me to briefly talk about MIDA, MIDA's role in attracting investment into Malaysia. The Malaysian Investment Development Authority, it is a government agency who's in charge of promoting investment into Malaysia, all right? And it's under the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry. So whenever Ms. Kavitha is around, I will behave myself. Right? And because she's from the ministry, so I'm from the government agency, right? So we are similar to EDB of Singapore. EDB attracts investment into Singapore, MIDA attracts investment into Malaysia. Same goes to Rwanda just now, which is very interesting slides, sharing just now, I believe. So we promote investment, whether it's FDI or domestic investment. Foreign investment, we try to attract the investment to our network of offices globally, where normally is situated in the capital export country, right? Besides that, we are also an authority body who give licenses for companies who wants to undertake their investment into Malaysia. For example, like for manufacturing activities, there's a few licenses that you need to obtain, which is from MIDA is the first one, which is the manufacturing license, that if you hit the threshold of 2.5 million ringgit, then it is, in the law term they call it, you shall apply for manufacturing license. Besides that, we also provide incentives in the form of tax incentive, that is corporate tax exemptions, and sometimes, if we see the project is very strategic, even grants also is possible. And of course, the other stuff is the custom duty, exemption, import duty, and all of that. And the third one is, which is very interesting, monitoring project implementation. Now, this is very important. As we were, in the era of COVID-19 and all that, a lot of projects that we approved prior to that, it got stuck, right? And because you have the movement of control and COVID-19 and hit up and all that, and the project couldn't take off. So in the past, we used to, extend this kind of services for strategic investment only. But we realized that every project that comes to Malaysia, it needs to be monitored to make sure that we facilitate to implement the project in Malaysia. Now this is very important because it is only, if it is just approved project, it's on paper, right? But if you don't implement the project, we don't see the spillover effect. So it is utmost important for us to make sure the project take off according to the investor's timeline, right? Literally, we have a unit called On Track, right? And literally, they have a Gantt chart to follow on the project that has been approved by MIDA. And this is to make sure that the project is implemented according to the timeline. Because the industries are now going so dynamic. If you have a delay in the implementation, then you might just lose your clients and all of that. So we take very, very important role in make sure that we implement the project according to time. We have a task force whereby the federal government and the state government, with whichever state that you're going to be, will sit together and to streamline the evaluation process and the implementation process. Now, this is very, very important. Our record, currently, we are, I think, around 77, 78%, the projects that has been, has been implemented, and we are going towards 80% soon, right? Besides that, we also provide business facilitation, right? Talent needs, okay? Talent needs, it's actually a global issue, right? Whatever the university's outcome and the industry needs, it always doesn't match. There's always a narrow there, right? So this is very important because, like I said, industry is so dynamic. It moves very fast. Like for example, semiconductor, everything become obsolete after 1 month, 2 months, right? Including in medical devices as well, I think. So we take important to make sure that we can fulfill your talent needs as well, right? We have a unit in MIDA who looks after the talent requirements of the investors. Local sourcing, engineering support, adoption into what do you call that, smart manufacturing, part of companies that wants to undertake into ESG, SDG, whatever G in town. There will be more Gs will be coming, right? And funding needs. This is where we work closely with the banks, with the PEs and the VCs, right? We connect them, for funding needs. And very importantly, pre and post investment issues, right? As long as you are in Malaysia, MIDA will be your best strategic partner in expanding your business into Malaysia. So we will always be there, right? We don't take limelight most of the time. We'll be behind the scene, but we make sure the job is good. We will solve your problem, all right? Or at least we are solution oriented, to be more exact about it. Okay? So our investment promotion efforts, it's aligned with our national policies and framework, in new growth areas and all of that. So we have a lot of roadmaps, blueprints that has been announced, and it's ongoing, all right? And whether it's a new industrial master plan, whether it's a new energy transition plan, which what was discussed by my High Commissioner in the earlier meeting session, 12 Malaysia plan, or national automotive policy, all of that, right? Including digital blueprint as well. So all these, like I said, it is aligned, for example, if you look at the 12th Malaysia plan, which is from 2021 to 2025, this plan includes very specifically on the strategies to enhance the healthcare services. I'm coming to the point, I'm coming to the topic now, just if you're wondering. Improving healthcare infrastructure and promoting health innovation. Now this is very important, it's very clearly mentioned there, and it is going towards there, right? The other example is the new industrial master plan, which was announced last year, around September, right? So we have very specific goals, right? And it coupled with the missions, which is very, very important, to achieve the goals, right? So this roadmap is actually very interesting. It is more on the mission-based approach, right? So for example, in mission 1, we are talking about advanced economic complexity. So this is where we strongly believe, it goes along with other industry as well, E&E industry, automotive industry, semiconductor industry, but healthcare, pharmaceutical and medical devices is also a very critical industry that it will able to us to achieve that mission 1 because of the complex of the industry, the products that has been produced, or the drugs that has been produced, yeah? Moving on, next slide. So this is the ecosystem, healthcare ecosystem. I'm just going to touch very briefly on that. So like what my High Commissioner mentioned, so Malaysia has an internationally recognized healthcare system which is accessible to nearly all the population. Yeah? The success story of healthcare can be attributed to the investments in the world-class facilities, resulting in both private and public hospitals providing specialist services, in addition to, world-class medical practitioners as well. Some of them are trained in abroad, some of them are locally. So the Malaysian healthcare system, it operates on a two-tier system, right? Which is the government-based universal healthcare system and a highly effective private healthcare system that offers expertise in medical fields such as cardiology, oncology, and neurology, right? And this sector, which is interesting, is expected to grow close to USD 30 billion ringgit by 2027. It's a massive market in Malaysia. And it is fueled because of the increasing demand for healthcare services from an aging population, rising affluence, and increasing life expectancy. So to reduce this financial burden, right, the government has encouraged more private investment, right, or even public-private investment, to multiply the effect of the industry. So some of the areas of the potential growth is, of course, the health services, medical tourism, manufacturing and manufacturing of medical devices, pharmaceutical, clinical research. If you look at the ecosystem, the value chain that you see, the idea is the end goal will go to the end users, which is where the services, to improve the services. So for that, you need the upstream, midstream, going forward towards the downstream, the whole ecosystem. Make sense, right, so far? Okay? Yeah. And the R&D, right, is very important. This is where Malaysia has really going into the R&D part, whether it's primary R&D or secondary R&D. In both of this, whether it's medical or pharmaceutical, right? So we have the players there, as you can see. So the idea now is to enrich further of this ecosystem so that we be able to provide world-class services, right? To manage, to continue the momentum. Yeah. Next slide. So where does all these companies are there? The geographical clusters. If you're in medical devices, so Malaysia, as you know, right, to our friends from overseas, you have West Malaysia and you have East Malaysia, right? East Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak, which is very sexy at the moment. A lot of immense opportunities over there. All right. If you want to know more about it, our representative from Sarawak, Trade and Tourism folks are here, headed by Mr. Chew, and you can get in touch with him. He's based in Singapore, right? And Sabah, I think probably Mr. Chew can also help on that part as well, right? And so wherever you are, in pharmaceutical or in biotech, medical devices, it across the nation, right? And each state is really looking into the, whether it's pharmaceutical or medical health or health services, right?
Mr. Vino, maybe you can speed up a bit.
Yeah, so before that, I have to confess that I'm going to steal 1 minute of yours and yours. All right? Okay. So the opportunities, I will just try to wrap up. In the next 5 or 10 years, Malaysia is aiming to grow subsectors of medical devices, such as high-value electronic-based medical products, because we are also in the business, the initiative also in prevention as well, so that we can get more of these electronic devices which can actually prevent, prevention methods, right? The government view this industry as a very high potential growth area, and businesses are looking to shift production in more value-added services through embracing technology, of course, and enhancing decision development method. So some of the sectors, as you can see, I think we can discuss further in the, round 2, as what Ms. Kavitha mentioned. Investment incentive. So, a dedicated incentive is to entice potential investment, basically. So if you are in the medical sectors or pharmaceutical sectors, there are very lucrative incentive which is available. If you may apply if you qualify, subject to further deliberation. Okay. And but it is not only about incentive, right? Sometimes we are talking about the country itself, the unique value proposition, right? So we have basically strong economic fundamentals. Our GDP growth last year was 3.7. This last quarter was 5.9. It was amazing, and the first quarter was about 4.7, if I'm not mistaken. OCBC actually predicted that the whole year, I think we may able to achieve 5%, which is fantastic. And of course, business-friendly investment policies we have. We allow companies to operate 100%, all right, for manufacturing and selected services sector. And readiness for technologies. Some of the success story, if I may, quickly. A company, Dexcom, based in San Diego. I used to be in San Jose office. So when I met them, they were only a startup company. And fast forward 7-8 years now, they are now in Penang. Big facility in Penang. This is an amazing story. Norwegian, they are in the API line as well, right? Abbott has been there for so many years. The latest one in Johor, Insulate. They just had an opening ceremony last week, if I'm not mistaken. So all these companies are now not only, on this part, they also keep on expanding, right? Because of the market. Moving forward, these are the investors' journey that you can see. What will be the step? How do we navigate you? So you come and talk to us, Maida, and we will help you how to go, especially on medical devices, medical industry and pharmaceutical, even hospitals and all that. So you have certain authorities, other key agencies are also involved, which is the Ministry of Health, National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Authority, for distribution, and all that, Medical Device Authority for devices that you need to make. And Malaysia Healthcare Travels Council, which is very, very, they're doing fantastic job. They're getting a lot of, medical tourism folks to come over to Malaysia to go for treatment, nursing, and all of that, right? With that, finally, your first point of contact. I'm based in Singapore. My office is in Suntec. Together with me, I have Mr. Shafiq and also my investment officer, Mr. Anson. We are always ready to serve you, all right? Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Vinod, for that overview. Definitely we will have more time to discuss in a bit. And it's clear that Malaysia presents a promising environment for healthcare investments, including medical devices and pharmaceuticals. So next we turn to medical services and medical tourism. And we have Ms. Sherene, who is the former CEO of Malaysia Healthcare Travel Council herself. And we will invite Ms. Sherene to share about how KPJ Healthcare has positioned itself as one of the key private healthcare provider in Malaysia and also domestically as well as its international strategies. Ms. Sherene.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kavitha. Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon to our His Excellency, our High Commissioner to Singapore, Dato Dr. Azfar, and also to all the excellencies in this room, all the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm just going to go zoom in, given the time, 7 minutes. I'm just going to go zooming in straight into medical tourism because I think my colleague here has explained more or less about the medical industry or the healthcare industry in Malaysia with the services and also other innovations and investments. So before I start, can we go to the slides, please? Can I ask, how many of you have heard about KPJ? Okay, Dato, you are reception. Thank you. 1, 2. Okay, okay, you guys are reception. Anyone else in the room? Thank you. So anyone else have been to our hospitals? Thank you. So if you have anything, you can talk to me. But it looks like many others haven't heard about KPJ, so a little bit of introduction. Can I have the slides, please? Okay, so I'm just going to... Okay, is that going back? Okay. So you're used to this, the round KPJ Healthcare brand, isn't it? 2 weeks ago, we changed to the one at the top. We just rebranded our brand. That KPJ Healthcare brand with the blue and red crescents have served us for 43 years. You know, it served us for 43 years. We have 29 operating hospitals. One more is going to be open in January next year. So we have 30 hospitals in Malaysia in almost every state. So that's for those who don't know. But I just want to share a little bit of our rebranding journey. I'm actually new to KPJ. Before this, I was in MHTC, looking after medical tourism. One of the tasks for me was to rebrand. So I'm just about 9 months in KPJ. So 2 weeks ago, I delivered the new rebranding for KPJ. I hope you like it. But I would like to share this video of that journey. A little bit of introduction for KPJ. Can we have the video, please? And the sound, please. Can we restart and have the sound, please? Thank you. Okay. Just when you need technology, you have to rely on technology somehow. Okay, while they figure it out, I'm just going to say that the rebranding is not just about the change in logo.
The individual, providing strength and support in the most challenging moments.
So it's not just about change in logo.
Care is at the heart of everything we do. It means ensuring the happiness and health of those who matter to us. Embracing difference.
We are committed.
Reaching out to every
We are accountable.
providing strength and support.
We are respectful.
Challenging moments. Today, care is
And we are excellent in delivering our services. It's not just about rebranding. It's about changing the mindset of our people. It's about cultural transformation. It's about uplifting our services for our patients. And that's our 6-star hospital, latest addition to our group, Damansara Specialist 2. Investment in technology, our patients, our people, our physicians, our partners, and of course, sustainability, our planet.
provides holistic health services, transforming every facet of care through digitalization. What we do revolves around the well-being of people, impacting lives and bringing positive changes to health and
and that's our transformational purpose, massive transformational purpose, care for life. And it's not about just a total rebrand, just changing the logo. It's a total change of the organization. Before we launched the logo, we actually deployed the cultural transformation within the organization. So I hope that you will start to feel the difference in our services, caring for our people. So that's where KPJ Healthcare now, after 43 years, we came up with a new brand, the same purpose of care for life, but strengthened. So why is this important? In terms of delivering. You're talking about medical tourism just now. We talked about the potential of having the 33 billion US dollars industry in Malaysia in healthcare. But why is it important? Because at the end of the day, what matters, can I have the slide back again, please? I can't forward it. The slide, jalan. Sorry. No, because in the end, when we talk about care for life, what matters most? Who matters most? It's about our patients. So it's very important that we really embrace this patient-centric approach if we want to be different in terms of delivering healthcare services to our patients. And you can see we are moving now from the perception of just being affordable. KPJ, people used to say KPJ is good, affordable, we care for the masses, but we talk about being value-based. So we're talking about outcome-based. We're talking about delivering the best services in terms of outcomes and experience. So that's why we're moving now. And I tell you, that is going to make the difference in terms of healthcare. You're talking about medical tourism, you're talking about delivering the care for the people. That's what will make the difference. And that's why we are moving now, KPJ. And that's where our hospitals are. So just now, my colleague here mentioned about the experts, in Sabah, Sarawak, in the east. You can also approach me because I look after all the 30 hospitals in the region. So, in terms of the opportunities, etc., as a chief marketing officer, we actually look into all the different markets where all our hospitals are. So you can see we have 5 in East Malaysia, and we have the 25 in the peninsula. And these are the things that we are working on to strengthen and also to deliver in terms of our value-based care services. We have all this chain of comprehensive healthcare services. And you can see that one of the focus there is health tourism and senior assisted living care. And another thing that's different from the normal clinical, ambulatory care, diagnostics, etc., you're talking about education as well. So this is, people don't talk about just being sick, getting to hospital, and being cured. You're talking about healthcare, talking about wellness. So it's about real care for yourself. And that's why we say we care for life. It's not about you're being sick, only you come to our hospitals. We want to be making sure you're well. So that's what we are focusing on. And it involves even things like education. So you will see later that we are growing to be looking into that. As far as tourism is concerned, it's something that Malaysia has a significant advantage over others, even against Singapore. Our pricing, for once, I mean, you're laughing, yeah, but the reality, our price is 1/3 of your private hospital prices. And I always joked with my potential patients, and I said to them, more than half of your doctors are Malaysians, or at least they came from Malaysia. More than half of your nurses are Malaysian. Some of your hospitals are owned by Malaysian group of hospitals, and you pay 3 times the price. Sorry, don't kick me out of Singapore. My flight is at 7 o'clock. But that's the reality. So we do see patients coming from Singapore, mostly expatriates working in Singapore, and we are seeing now some Singaporeans because of the affordability, and yet it doesn't compromise in the world-class quality. So that's what we're focusing on. In terms of the centers of excellence, I think we're comparable with whatever that you have in Singapore, so I'm just going to skip that. But this is where something that we are working on. We have KPJ University. We have nursing colleges. So we are now working on an integrated academic health system, which is anchored on clinical care, research, as well as the education side of things. This was neglected by the private healthcare in Malaysia. It used to be just University Malaya, University Kebangsaan Malaysia, the government or the Ministry of Education hospitals, but now the private sector is stepping in. So KPJ is investing a lot now in our academic health system, and one of the partners for our academic health system is actually Mayo Clinic. So that's where we are in terms of bringing ourselves next to the next level. And in terms of our sustainability, we have our subsidiaries in terms of Wakaf. We have our, all the initiative there. You can see FTSE for Good. We have the Sukuk. And recently, we were recognized in the Malaysian Book of Records for the first private hospital in Malaysia that actually looked into proper disposal of our clinical waste. The first in Malaysia. So we are investing in that. And then now we are also investing in the renewable energy. We are also looking into the solar power for all our hospitals, and that's 30 of them. So there's a lot of investment. But yeah, we are serious about sustainability. And in terms of leader in medical tourism, okay, in the past 40 years, KPJ was not an aggressive player. And when they actually wanted to bring me in last year, they said that one thing why they took the previous CEO of Malaysia Healthcare Travel Council, which led medical tourism in Malaysia, to be in KPJ was because they are serious about getting medical tourism into KPJ. So this is the potential in Malaysia. You can see post-COVID, where we are, the red bars. The growth has been consistently double-digit, even for KPJ. Our growth has been, 30%, 20%. So, 30%, 40%. We are aiming growth at 50% this year. So if you're looking at KPJ, we are serious about all that. We are moving into medical tourism. And I joined in November last year. The share price when I joined was 1 ringgit 12 cent. In April, which is technically in less than 6 months, the highest it went was 2 ringgit 5 cent. I was kicking myself for not buying the shares. I should have, right? Oh my God, yeah, but that's actually 64% growth of our market share. Our market price, share price. 64%, and we outgrew any other healthcare companies in the region. Thank you. Yeah, I'm still kicking myself though. So I'm just waiting to dip a bit, then I will buy more. Okay, so but that's where the potential is for healthcare tourism. And this is what we are looking at: brand presence, conversion channels, digital presence, and strategic partnerships. So you're talking about even for our customer service, patient care, we actually partner with Marriott International. Our customer services team in all our hospitals are being trained by St. Regis. That's how serious we are about delivering care. Yeah? So, and we are, 2 of our hospitals are now in the Mayo Clinic Care Network, and we are the only ones in Malaysia investing in this partnership of Mayo Clinic. So, yeah, that's why we are seeing growth in our share price, our customer base, and also medical tourism. So, one of the things that we were doing now also is we want KPJ to be known in the world. Not only in Malaysia, not only in the region. So now we are here, we are going to Singapore and other countries in the region, but what we have done as well is we are actually partnering with the Ministry of Health Malaysia, we are launching the signature event for Ministry of Health Malaysia and KPJ. So we are going to have the annual Malaysia International Healthcare Megatrends, and it will be the first one in KLCC Convention Center, 25th to 27 October. And it's going to be, a big scale, about 1,200. Our sponsors have, are all taken up by all the regional and also global players. So, I would encourage you, if you want to know the latest of the healthcare in this region, if you are looking into investing, if you want to know what are the trends, to scan that and join us for this conference. And this will be again in KL, 25th to 22nd October. So with that, I end my introduction. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Sherene, for the exciting developments of KPJ Healthcare, which not only cover medical services, but also assisted care and medical tourism as well, and also on medical tourism opportunities in Malaysia. And last but not least, we hear from Mr. Ho Wai Ki from OCBC Malaysia, who will be sharing with us about financing options available for businesses, especially in the healthcare sector. Mr. Wai Ki, over to you.
Thank you, Kavitha. Thank you. As shown in the video, the kid was specifically tailor a mark to his grandparents. So in OCBC, we also specifically tailor all the financing solutions to all our clients. Each and every financing solution could be different, and we tailor specifically to the specific requirements of each client. So over the years, OCBC in Malaysia, we have supported about 20 billion ringgit worth of bonds and loans that we have, OCBC Malaysia has helped to arrange. And this is what we have helped to finance the healthcare sector in Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Now, the topic for me today is about financing options available for the healthcare business. First of all, to give a brief overview of the healthcare system in Malaysia, as what Vinod has mentioned just now, Malaysia has a hybrid healthcare system, generally comprising public and private healthcare system. The financing for public and private could be a bit different. For the public healthcare system, of course, it is generally supported by the government budget, government development budget, and the operating budget. And even the last 10 years, there have also been some private finance initiative to support the development of the public hospitals. What is private finance initiative, which is PFI? PFI is a form of public-private partnership. And this was introduced by the Malaysian government under the 9th Malaysia Plan as an alternative procurement method for the public sector. And it is actually a way to finance the public sector through private sector. So for example, the government will enter into a concession agreement, long-term concession agreement, say about 30 years, with a concession A. And the concession A's responsibility is to undertake the planning, the construction, the financing, and design of the public hospital. So once this public hospital is completed, the government will then agree to make a payment, a monthly payment, for example, over the next 30 years during a concession period. And against this fixed payment from the government, then the concessionaire will be able to tap to the market to either to raise a loan or raise a capital market instrument to finance the construction. So this is how public and private, they cooperate together to help raising the funds to construct public hospitals. Now, on the private side, what do they do? How do they finance the private hospitals? For the private healthcare system, there are currently more private hospitals than public hospitals in Malaysia. There are currently about 213 private hospitals versus about 146 public hospitals in Malaysia. In the early days, the private hospitals were set up by the missionaries and also the philanthropists. Over time, there are more private companies coming to own the hospitals, and even the government-linked companies, government-linked investment companies have also acquired controlling stakes in these private hospitals. But how are these private hospitals being financed? Generally, they are financed via a combination of both debt and equity. On the debt side, initial years, the financing was more for the construction of hospitals, so it's generally financed via bank loans. But over time, when the requirements become larger, the players also tap into capital market. For example, we also help KPJ to raise bonds in the market as well. So in most recent years, the financing tend to be more on the mergers and acquisitions, and it is typically financed through syndicated loans. So this is on the private healthcare system, how it's raised through the debt side. But on the equity side, there are also a few players in the private healthcare space that have actually tapped the equity capital market that have gone to the public listing. They have been listed in Busan, Malaysia, and one even have a dual listing in Singapore as well. It is quite a large size listing. So the listing could be undertaken via a plain listing, that is both the asset and the operator housed under one roof, or it could go via a listing of a REIT. For example, KPJ Group, they actually split the assets is listed under a REIT, whereas the operator is listed separately. More interesting is that in recent years, there have even been private equity coming into the healthcare space, buying up hospitals. And private equity typically will have an investment horizon of about 5 to 7 years, and typically they will exit through trade sale or IPO. So the presence of private equity have actually spiced up and resulted in a lot more of M&A activities in Malaysia in recent years. So basically, this is a brief overview of how public and private healthcare business in Malaysia are being financed in Malaysia. Okay, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Waiki. But yeah, he mentioned that the number of public hospital lesser than private hospital, but I think we know that patient load in actually public hospitals are actually more than in private hospitals. So with that, we end the first session, the first round of introduction by our panel speakers. Probably we go deep diving into some areas before I open the floor for any questions. Back to you, Mr. Vino. I give you another chance to elaborate further.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, probably you can share about what are the new trends and areas of growth, specific sectors that you think that businesses should be aware of. You're looking at investing in Malaysia's healthcare.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Kavitha. Well, as I mentioned earlier, right, the new growth area includes, in the sophisticated, medical, for example, in medical equipments, right. Malaysia has always been, I would say, one of the champions in surgical gloves, right. So that was our forte that we'll be talking about it. But over the years, we have also shifted into more, as part of that roadmap that I mentioned earlier, we want to be, the hub in the region, right? By producing more sophisticated medical equipments, right? Whether it's surgical or imagings and all, medical imagings and all of that, right? And the shift has gone into that. That is why the importance is really given in the R&D, clinical research, and further downstream, right? Now, if we talk about pharmaceutical, right? Of course, during COVID-19, billions vaccine was required and all that. So we were also in a way that because we waited for the vaccine, we procured the vaccines, but it came late and all that. So we were wondering how can we to manage the sustainability. So that's why we realized. We don't have APIs in Malaysia. We don't have many APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients. But we have immense of the starting material, right? Which is it could be from our petchem guys, It just has to be processed into a biotech grade. So you have starting material, you go into midstream, you produce that, then further you go to API, then it becomes drug. So we don't have many, and 30% of our generic products that we produce, it can only survive for 30% for local market. So lifestyle diseases right? NCDs and all of that. It has to, we have to import that. So this is what we are looking at, how can we leverage on the raw mat that we have, and to pursue this. But of course, if you just look at Malaysia as a market itself is not enough, right? And that's why we are looking at the ASEAN region, which is immense growth there and, population and all of that. The other thing that I did not mention in my slides is the halal pharmaceutical, right? So that's very interesting. We have actually developed, halal certification for pharmaceutical products. It's known as the, let me see, MS213, something like that. That's actually the certification, and the product is, it's halal certified. And it's a big market, right? I know, and especially when you go to Middle East and ASEAN and everywhere. So we have that forte, but we want more companies to be part of it. And at the moment, I think it's only Pharma Niaga and Dua Prama, if I'm not mistaken, distributing into this. But we want more companies to come into that halal, because it's immense opportunities in halal market. And as you know, Malaysia, I know the next topic is about halal. Sorry, I'm just stealing a bit there, but I would like to, really seek, some of you investors here that to consider into that market as well. It's a very niche market, and definitely we can, we have that what do you call that, cutting edge, right?
Thank you. Ms. Sherene, with the rise of medical tourism, what are some of the trends and challenges that Malaysia, and specifically KPJ Healthcare, face in attracting international patients, and how are you addressing them?
Thank you very much, Ms. Kavitha. Actually, she can answer that question herself. She was with Malaysia Healthcare Chamber Council for a few years, right? Long years. So she was one of my strong pillars when I was the CEO then. So technically, I think Malaysia, originally, our main challenge was that we don't shout out loud enough. And we were also laggards when it comes to coming into that space. I mean, I would say that, perhaps Thailand has started way ahead of us, maybe 10, 15 years ahead of us. So we were playing catch up. As a country, as a destination, we were playing catch up. So, Alhamdulillah, we got to be the #1 in the world in 2019 in terms of volume. Why I said in volume? Because our affordability. We cannot compete in terms of revenue because, for example, even with Singapore, your price is triple ours, even for medical tourists, because we don't charge differently. We charge you similar to the prices that the Malaysians pay. So you don't get, because our prices are, regulated by the Ministry of Health Malaysia. So when you come to Malaysia, you have the peace of mind, we don't overcharge you. That's #1. Quality, we are world class, so that we are there. And in terms of the getting up there to #1, we are there in #1, but COVID hit, so we have to restart. So that's our challenge. For KPJ specifically, we are now the laggards in the market as well, because in the last 40 years, I mean, other than the last, before COVID, maybe the 3 years before COVID, KPJ was not an active player in medical tourism. So that's why they got me in last year, because they said that that's our key growth areas. With 30 hospitals, we need to make sure that we sweat our asset. If you don't make sure that we have the economies of scale of the patient numbers, the cases, the case mix, our doctors will not be challenged when it comes to case mix. Our numbers will not be good enough to give that competitiveness in the pricing. And we need to know that, to be able to grow with beyond the 30 million population of Malaysia. So since last year, we have started ramping up. The challenge is the brand. When you go to certain markets, they don't know KPJ. When in the Middle East market, maybe they know partly because of the Muslim-friendly facilities, the halal, but in certain markets, they don't know KPJ. So now that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to beef up our medical tourism when it comes to branding, and also share the benefits of the value-based services, value-based healthcare with our patients, so that is outcome-based, is actually something that actually will benefit them. It's not just about business. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe one last question for Mr. Waiki is that, are there any particular types of financing that more suited for different stages in business development?
Okay, in different stages of development, for example, when, let's talk about healthcare hospitals, the initial stage where you need the financing for construction of hospitals, for example, then typically they will need to consider what's the gestation period. The typical products from the banks would be the normal bilateral loan or club loans. So when a hospital is in a growing stage and is developing, then they may raise a larger loan through bond market. In Malaysia, there's also Islamic bonds, which is called Sukuk as well. They can tap on the market. And they may also raise for M&A purposes. So M&A purposes, typically they may raise, typically the time period is quite short, the amount is quite large. Typically it's raised through syndicated loans underwritten by a few banks and subsequently sell down to other banks. Now, when the asset become more matured, typically they will look for public listing, IPO, go for IPO, either go for REIT or the IPO itself. So this is typically the growing stage of a healthcare facility, and at different stage there could be different financing opportunities or different financing products to be made suitable for this type of healthcare business.
Thank you, thank you. I think great insights that we had today for the session. I would like to once again thank His Excellency High Commissioner, Mr. Vinod, Ms. Sherene, and Mr. Waiki for a very insightful discussion. I'm afraid that we may not have time for Q&A, but however, feel free to get in touch with our panel speakers after the session. And with that, I think I would like to wrap to say that it is clear that Malaysia offers a wealth of opportunities in the healthcare sector, from investment to medical services, medical tourism, as well as some financing options as well. So we hope that the session has been insightful for everyone. And with that, I would like to thank, Nomita, where are you? Yeah, I would like to thank you and your team for the great event. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you to our esteemed panelists on Malaysia. Please remain at the center of the stage in order to receive the token of appreciation by Mr. Sunil and Ms. Nomita and a brief photo.
Sorry, but I'm dying to say, Malaysia boleh.
Just talk about halal.